This is a story about a sleep paralysis nightmare experience that I had. It took place in the summer of 2020. Sleep paralysis is usually a result of fatigue and tiredness of the body and mind from long work hours or mental exhaustion. But this experience was more surreal and traumatizing than usual. My name is Chozen, and here is what happened. The clock on the wall blinked 11:37 p.m., its pale glow casting a spectral light over the room. The hum of the TV was the only sound. Its flickering images a soft, eerie backdrop to my nightly ritual. I settled into my chair with a steaming cup of tea, the warmth of comfort against the creeping cold of the night. I had grown accustomed to this routine, a soothing prelude to the solitude of sleep. My eyelids grew heavy, the quiet hum of the world lulling me toward the brink of dreams. I placed the empty cup on the table and shuffled to bed, the weight of exhaustion pressing down on me like a heavy cloak. As I sank into the sheets, I closed my eyes, embracing the pull of slumber. But then came a noise. Soft, at first, like the old house settling into its bones. I told myself it was nothing, a trick of the house. Yet, as the creaks deepened into something far more sinister, my heart began to thud in my chest. I tried to dismiss it, thinking I was merely dreaming, but the sensation, the sharp, unsettling feeling that something was terribly wrong, remained. The noises grew louder, more deliberate, the sound of footsteps echoing up and down the stairs. Then came the unmistakable sounds of chains rattling against the floor in rhythmic, deliberate clinks. My mind scrambled to rationalize it, but the air around me grew heavy, oppressive, as if the dream itself was bending to something more tangible, more real. I willed myself to ignore it, telling myself that this is just a nightmare. But the light in the stairwell flickered again, as if it synced with my rising panic. And then, unmistakably, I heard it. A deep, hollow thud, thud, thud. Chains hit wood, each impact sending a shockwave of dread through me. A shadow stretched across the wall, dark and towering, creeping up in the staircase. I could barely make out its shape, but the air felt thick, as if it pressed in all from all sides. And then I saw it. Possibly tall figure. Its limbs warped, twisted. Its eyes gleamed with unnatural light, like coals burning into the depths of a forgotten furnace. My breath caught in my throat, as if the creature climbed, each step it took reverberating with a bone-chilling finale. The clank of his chains matched the frantic pounding of my heart. When our eyes met, or rather, when it saw me, a cold, maleficent understanding passed between us. Its gaze was an abyss, a darkness that seemed to pull me at my very soul. A jolt of terror locked my body in place, leaving me frozen, incapable of moving. In that moment, the fight or flight instinct kicked in. The only thing between me and that creature was an axe, hanging from the wall within arm's reach. I grabbed it without thinking, feeling the weight of the cold steel in my hands. A comforting, familiar sensation, but fleeting. The entity took another step forward, and my pulse spiked. I couldn't outrun it, but there was only one choice left. I steeled myself, my mind screaming in defiance. Do or die. Adrenaline surged through my veins. I gritted my teeth, positioning myself, preparing for the charge. The creature moved again, but this time with unnatural speed, crossing the distance between us in a blink of an eye. I froze, my body paralyzed by the impossibility of the situation. There was no escaping it. There's no fighting it. I was no match for this thing, and it was already upon me. In that split second of clarity, I threw myself toward it, screaming, "Fuck you!" I swung the axe with every ounce of fury I could summon, but before I could land a blow, darkness rushed in. My vision blurred, and the world around me crumbled into blackness. Suddenly, I jolted awake, gasping for air, drenched in sweat. My body trembled, heart racing as if I just ran a marathon. I wiped my clammy hands against the sheets, still feeling the heavy grip of the axe in my fingers, though it was no longer there. I rose shakily from the bed, desperate to ground myself. My feet carried me to the kitchen, where I drank deeply from a glass of water, the cool liquid soothing my parched throat. I returned to my room, each step pulling me further from the remnants of the nightmare. When I glanced at the clock on the nightstand, it read 11:37 p.m. That's when I heard it. The unmistakable drag of chains along the hallway floor, faint but growing louder with each passing second.